Greetings, everybody. Welcome to the dojo. Haven't been on in a bit because I've been doing a lot of vibe hacking. But it is new month, and we got to get at least one day in game dev sooner rather than later, especially because I recently got a subscription to Claude, which now overlaps with my free month of Codex. And already out the gate, I am super unhappy with Claude, as a lot of people have been lately. Like, you can go on Twitter and find countless instances of people in recent weeks and months talking about quality degradation, using too many tokens, and just a overall negative reduction of quality. So I'm really coming into Claude at a bad time, right? Like, I guess peak Claude was probably several months ago. Like, something has changed in their code base, and not to mention, just like what, 2 days ago, they made a human error. It wasn't that they got hacked, although there was another hack. Apparently, they leaked all of their source code, or like a lot of their source code, like 500,000 lines worth of TypeScript, which is crazy. Like, for one, I'm already kind of like tripping on the fact that TypeScript economy is as big as it is. Node economy is as big as it is. Um, it's like, but at the same time, it's like, I'm not gonna lie, I do have been known to install Python packages without putting them in virtual environments. I know, bad boy. I have to upgrade my way of doing things if I want to be super safe about certain things. That said, we are going to be running around with scissors today, possibly. I mean, I technically have been with Codex, but Codex has been really good. I've been able to trust Codex. I've been able to watch what Codex does when it's running on full auto, and generally be pretty satisfied with the ultimate, results of my experiments here. We've managed to successfully add in a large number of new features, and it's been pretty great. But what can I say? Ain't nobody joining yet. That's crazy. I find that incredulous. But I guess it is the middle of the day. You people do have jobs and stuff like that. But if you are watching, please like and subscribe, and would appreciate all of the support that you can possibly give me. I am trying to make this a full-time thing. Not just the making of the game itself, but also of talking about different tech issues, as well as kind of leveraging my 3 decades of programming experience. This is longer than most of y'all have been alive. I don't imagine most of my audience is above the age of 30. Maybe some of y'all are, but most of y'all might not be. I'm probably the odd one out here. I'm probably the oldest dude watching the most YouTube out of all y'all. If only I can monetize my YouTube watching. So that said, the big complaint that I see, and I have personally with Claude, is that somehow I'm burning through tokens like really fast. And by tokens, I mean context window. And by context, what I mean, if you're not like on the Pro Max plan or whatever, and I just decided to get like the basic $20 a month deal, Claude Pro, I think that is, you have a 5-hour window and a week window. And the week window is obviously much larger than 5-hour window. But as you fill up the 5-hour window, you fill up some of your week window, and every 5 hours, your 5-hour window resets, and every week, your week window resets, right? So I'm noticing that Claude uses more percentage of that window for both the 5-hour and the week than Codex does, for like significantly less number of tokens. And so what I'm thinking, like Occam's razor, is that, and just based off of what I've read and seen on the interwebs, is that Claude is intentionally adding in extra shit to prompts that are sent, and this is largely inflating a lot of shit. Not to mention, Claude will just try to do shit without, like, it's like I won't even tell it that it needs to like run some command, and then it will offer to like run a command, and I'm like, yo, I didn't even tell you to do that shit. Like, and when I say tell it, there's the 2 different versions of telling it, right? There's telling it to do shit where you're prompting it, right? But then there's also the permissions angle, right? So like, if I prompt Claude or Codex to like run curl against Google and pipe it through my proxy, then if I've got the permission set up, then the next thing that it should do is offer to run that command, but then give me a prompt saying yes or no, do you want to run this command? And that's kind of like the best case, right? But like Claude straight up just start like offering to run commands without even being asked. Whereas Codex is a lot more respectful about what I tell it to do generally. I don't know. Like, so we're going to try out Claude first because knowing that Claude burns through tokens faster means that I get to use Claude first and burn it up before I move over to Codex. That said, I've got like a week of Codex left, and I'll probably end up re-upping on Codex just because it's so much better. I can see like how being anti-war and a lot of stuff has kind of been in favor for Claude in popularity terms, but significant issues have risen, and they're well documented. Like people who are paying far more per month than I am are hitting max context immediately. I'm not sure if this is a skill issue or not. It could be, but just giving people the benefit of the doubt here, right? It's very possible that people are perhaps not using something correctly, or maybe they're overfeeding old conversations, or they're not like compacting shit, or they're running with like a million context window or something like that. There's a number of different things that could be going wrong. Oh, hey, it's Beef Carver. Where are you getting all these tokens, man? What are you going to see if you burn tokens faster because your local prompting was done on Codex? Anthropic bills by input, not output. Um, Everybody bills by both input and output. But like when you have the monthly plan, you get like so many tokens per 5 hours, and you get so many tokens per week. Um, OpenAI, but no, everybody bills by both input and output. But like, there's the cost per token, so you could like buy like individual tokens, right? And that's what I used to do, and I still have credits on a lot of these different platforms when I burn out of stuff if I ever hit those limits. So I mean, I could really throw a lot of stuff, but I'm like not going to be doing a whole lot of like dual agent or multi-agent, kind of setups, which is really where like the people who are just like throwing hundreds upon thousands of dollars for accounts at these things. It's like yeah, local AI cluster. It keep going through 2030s. I don't know. We're at a very interesting spot. Like I saw a really great talk last night by a guy named Nicholas Carlini, I believe that's his name, who works at Anthropic doing security shit. And apparently, recently, within the last few months, I suppose, um, Claude apparently found a 0 day in the Linux kernel that's been there since 2003 in NFS, which I thought that was crazy. Um, that's pretty cool and also crazy. I think we're in for we're still going. It's not going to be over. Like I think we're really just beginning. I would hesitate to think that it's going to be over. But yeah, no, the popular buzzword now is no longer vibe coding. It's agentic engineering. All right, you gotta get with the parlance. So we're gonna try out some Claude. I've got three tabs here. Right, one of them's gonna be Codex. One of them's gonna be Claude. But in order to do this, what I would describe as correctly, all right. So first we start with a new branch. As you can imagine, because the pattern that I've been using previously is to next do like dev dash codex. We're gonna start with dev dash Claude today. It's Claude's turn to take a stab at things. We're gonna see how fast we burn through context, because my vibe hacking experiments with Claude, I have burnt through context super fast, doing what I would describe as almost no work. Like, you end up burning through like 5% of your context arguing with why it got like some basic ass operation incorrect. It's actually, I can't wait to get mad, honestly. This is gonna be fun. All right, ready to get pissed off at Claude? Hold on a sec. Claude help grep what am I looking for? Auto. Do we have an auto mode yet? I don't, man. See, at least with like I don't know, Codex, like, just there's too much shit. Not to mention, I already found one massive thing that like is straight up wrong, and maybe the new version fixed it. Maybe status line actually works now, but I couldn't get status line to work correctly. So I couldn't have like a status line like I do in Codex, which was really upsetting. Like, I was like so excited about like customizing Claude and all that shit, and it's like the customization shit doesn't even work. It's like straight up fucking broken product. Bullshit. Fuck. Okay. Um, I'm just gonna do regular mode because I want full auto mode, or like I can with Codex, because like with Codex, you got YOLO mode. You've also got full auto. So like YOLO and full auto are kind of like the two go-tos for like really getting shit done. And like Codex has been pretty good about it, but this is why you want to change to a different branch, because in the case that it fucks up, you can always revert. You always have a checkpoint. You can always go back. It's always about being able to do something in a as close to fearless, if not fearless, as possible. I mean, there's always risk, no risk, no reward though. So I'll check the chat before I get rolling here. Yeah, dangerously skip permissions. I think there's a level beneath that. I think they actually introduced something that's like kind of a step beneath or a step above, depending on your perspective. That's like auto mode, but like, I guess, I don't know. It's like permission mode. Um, Damn. Man, it's totally broken. Okay, this was terrible. Okay, less inside of less inside of neovim was a terrible idea. Damn. Okay, well, fuck. All right. Okay. Let's just load it up. Claude. Okay. Wait. Okay, we're on dev Claude. I was like, wait a second. All right. You know, there are definitely a lot of pretenders who are, I think, overhyping a lot of things. And I've had some real wins with building out stuff so far. And as soon as I get my first paycheck as a result of an AI hack, I'll let you know. I recently got paid $80 an hour briefly to do some AI data training and code labeling and shit. It's kind of silly, but it was easy enough work, and I'd do it again. Okay, so I got this plan.md, right? Let's see how retarded Claude is today. Oh, wait. All right, current usage, right? Start current session. Oh, yeah. So remember that. All right. We're starting at 0. And keep in mind, plan.md is a 160 line markdown file with a lot of context about like the state of where we last left the game project at, and like what we've already built and what still needs to be built, and what like the next immediate or task is, as well as some notes about like certain bug fixes and things like this, and kind of like the state of the game design and stuff. So we're just gonna have it summarize its contents. It has been a week since I last worked with another agent on this. Make no changes, run no commands, simply summarize. The fact that I have to be this explicit already is kind of infuriating, but I hate this flavor text. I think it's so silly. It's unnecessary. Uh, a kind of long summary. Can you break it down into 3 to 4 sentences? There we go. Okay, the project is C++ dungeon RPG using Raylib. Recent work added rings of light, blindfolds, and a warg enemy on floor 5 with an event queue migration pause near completion. Open items include balancing the warg, updating entity types for blindfolds, deciding ring equip slot limits. The backlog covers render cleanup, dungeon generation quality, save load, and a future multi-zone world architecture. Okay. 2% used already. I haven't done shit. I haven't done fucking shit. 2%? Okay. All right, let's see here. Let's be very selective about what we do. Do we want to review code? What's the next immediate task, right? Okay, I have an idea. This is a good task. So it's got to find where it's creating the warg, because a lot of the code's moving around and I have no idea where the fuck any of shit is right now. But it would do kind of the things that I would have to do in its place. Do like a bunch of grep, right? Figure out like where the warg where mentions of the word warg are, and look at the associated code surrounding it in order to find like where I actually set those components and what they're being set to. Generally speaking, I think we're just doing regular dice rolls, and then we may or may not have defined any attribute increases for the warg. I think he gets +2 across the board, or across like maybe strength, dexterity, and constitution maybe. See, exactly. Look at that. Okay, that's not bad. Not bad so far. Let's see what it's doing here. Yeah. Oh, very good. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. It only took 34 seconds for it to figure that out. That's really not terrible. Um, so spawn on floor 4, 5 rather. Um, only aggro is set. This lines up with plan MD. Highest hit die of any monster. Um, very very good that it was able to get this much. Um, so because it's dexterity is +2, whatever whatever it's like working armor classes automatically has like a +1 dexterity bonus because of the extra +2 to dexterity. By every in D&D 3.0 terms, every 2 attributes gives like +1 bonus to that stat, or like related things. Like for instance, +2 to strength correlates to like +1 extra attack or +1 extra damage when you're attacking, um, depending upon the weapon, of course. Now, and I need to create an association between which stat actually gives or like gets benefit from certain bonuses, right? Like higher strength doesn't really necessarily like help you if you're like trying to wield like a wand or something like that. Um, 4% used already. Okay. Damn. See, we are burning through the tokens. One on floor is Giga Warg, a Giga Chad that lost his record during the creep. Actually, rusty weapons would be a great idea. So like rusty What's the opposite of rusty? Because we have durability, right? But what about rustedness? What's the opposite of rust? Shiny? No, like the opposite, like like I'm confused. How what is the opposite of rust? What no, for real, what's the opposite of rust? I'm confused. So rust would be something that like as you get hit with like water or have to like wade through watery environments, um a weapon might get rusted and so you might need to like unrust it or clean it up or polish it or you know what I mean? Like okay, nobody cares. It's all good. Um stainless. Okay. Oh, and then that would actually give okay, we're gonna create a new mechanic. We're gonna create a new mechanic and this is gonna be called Rust. You might argue that I don't need to do 0 to 100. Um, we could do larger increments even. Um, Rust will effectively be an integer value. Well, no, it'll be an unsigned int from 0 to Um, let's see if it can figure out how do you create a new component. All right, to create the Rust component, the only file it needs to change is component traits. You add an empty tag struct Rust, and component traits specialized mapping, unsigned int. That's it. No header, no other files. The machinery picks it up automatically. The entry would look like this. Yeah. Yes. Yes, please. Go ahead. Very good. All right. So far, so good. Okay. Good job. Now, whenever we go to create a we need to attach default Rust value of 0 to each item. Um, yeah, I think we actually have a iron, silver, gold. It's like wood wouldn't rust, but it would have a rot component, right? If it has a material type of gold or iron. I'm gonna take a mushroom gummy here in a minute. Maybe the one for focus. CT has material.get. If material equals one of those, yes. Yeah, for real, man. Um, it just like throws it in your face. Codex doesn't do it like that. Codex doesn't like yell at I like show you how many tokens it's burning through your requests like that anyway. I mean, at least they have kind of an on-screen like kind of progress percentage thing. I was trying to get that set up with Claude here and it's like not doing it for me. Um Before I have changed, I have a quick question. Should the material be a parameter passed in? Or should each weapon have a hard coded default material? Uh, um, let's see how it handles that. Because this is a good question. Like it probably saw that like I haven't provided like a full API for like either direction because we've just been kind of like getting ideas to work to begin with. But there was like an intent with this. Um, let's see. You want to make this edit to game state factory. Yes. Set material iron as default before the init lambda runs. Allow the lambda to override it. After the lambda, attach rust equals 0 if material has iron. Let's take a look at the changes that have been made. Okay, so far it says only edited 2 files, but we define the rust component. We attach a material to a weapon in that, and we're not using the with init um, here. Oh no, we do call what init function, and then depending upon because like in the init function we can override any defaults that we've set, so we can customize like a weapon. So for instance, we set the default material to be iron here, but like imagine you want to create like a gold sword, right? So then you would pass in a with function that defines like a very small lambda function that sets the material to be gold. And then after weapon init function finishes, the if statement that it adds at the end kicks off and the rust value gets set. I see you repeating the same lines of code in multiple locations in order to set the rust value. Wouldn't it make sense if you pulled those lines out into their own function? Then you can call that function instead of repeating the same lines in multiple places. Julianing, fuck off. That's what I'm fucking talking about, man. This dumbass. It's like, oh, we're so cute. We're wasting all of your money. Yeah. God damn. Um, apply default rust. Nice. Okay, that makes sense. So it's gonna do that first. So you have to like literally tell it to not be retarded. Like it should have done this to begin with. All right. We have hardly done anything here. I'm gonna get really upset. 11% used. All right, that's still kind of bad. Like like I feel like I've done hardly anything, and we've already used 1/10, a little bit over 1/10 of this daily or this 5 hour window. So I guess let's we've still got time. We've only been on an hour. I only really started like 30 minutes ago. So we apply Rust. Let's see. I already know that I am going to need the Rust value displayed when we examine the item. For notes, there are two different inventory menu displays. One of them is the full display, but by default, we are using a mini display. However, for both of them, we need to add some lines, some items information. All right. Orbiting. um, I'll have to take my dog out here in a minute. Down the rust line appears for any item that has a rust component and is skipped entirely for items that don't. Is this okay? Because at the moment we're not implementing any direct mechanics with Rust, but as we start to introduce things like water, I want Rust to become a thing. So over time, as you accumulate Rust, you will receive penalties for having Rust, you know. Build item detail lines. Uh-oh. We got a bug. There is a bug. Uh-oh. All right, let's get it to fix some bugs. Okay, very good. Let's see that rust value. All right, so we're going to pick up the dagger. And the rust value does not display. This was an easy change. Okay, wise guy. There we go. There we go. Okay. Something though, the description text should really be on the same line or the same like indentation as the other lines. See if it can figure out what I want here. Okay, that's pretty good actually. That's reasonable. All right, this is the first major changes So we added Rust. So one thing with like the name of an item, so like we want the material type to show up in the name of the item when it's being displayed. Um, like this is technically an iron dagger, right? I say small detail and then I write out like a fucking paragraph. Master volume is a build parameter. Damn right. Although, you know what? You know what's really funny is even though that's a build parameter, it basically doesn't matter. Like I can't get floats for some reason to register that way. Like at the end of the day, you know, they're just going to be options. And I think it actually works now, but frequently during stream, I turn off the music and leave the other sound effects on so that I can like play other music outside of the game. I haven't really gotten. I mean, like a lot of people seem to like the metal and they like the Indian music and stuff. But all right, let's see what it's got here. Okay, so it pulls back a base name, and then that way it can compose a name. That's not bad. Um, okay, it's cool. It's actually replacing instances where I was previously like calling for an item's name. Now we're going to use the new version of this process, which will compose the name out of its material type and the base name. All right, let's take a look. See. Okay, so it still says dagger in the message box window, but it does not say dagger in the inventory. So we're like halfway there. Oops. You missed a spot. Um, oops, I did I hit the wrong value for that. Build should say you picked up iron dagger. Okay. You picked up iron dagger. There we go. Okay. Very good. Cloth blindfold. Cloth blindfold, iron dagger. Hell yeah. Now notice with the description, first of all, the description text here is showing up twice. Secondly, okay, and so we got two issues there. Very good. Small issues while we are on display on the mini inventory menu. Out of curiosity, do you do any accounting to see how you spend your tokens? How I spend my tokens? Good question. If there was an easier way to do that, I probably would, but I can't really think that I do. That's an interesting question. I wish it was like your bank account that like could categorize your spending. Like if you had something that like auto processes what you like what tasks you do with your LLM. I think because I like accepted all changes made to like a certain file, it's just going to default to that, so I no longer have to approve. Um, no, see, this was a bad decision. I didn't like this. You do not want it to do ellipses if the description overflows bounds. That is silly. Are you blind yourself? LOL. What we actually need is for multiple is for any overflow from down onto the next line. The last item and an item or the last thing shown when we are displaying an item in any inventory type menu will be the description text, so it can have multiple lines. I think a good starting point might have to do custom calculations in order to figure out where the text will land if there is overflow. Damn, really? Okay, we're just going to let it auto build now. Anytime it wants to try building, it'll be able to and see exactly. Now it's able to immediately figure shit out. But as a result, this is also going to use tokens faster. All right, it says clean build now. Let's see if that's true. Light radius 0 when equipped. Um, okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. But I can already see that we're going to need to make the total length of the, or the total height of the mini display bigger. Great work. Now, okay, let's take a look. That's not bad. I noticed that the other things that have a material type aren't being displayed either. Um, only displays on the wooden ring. So we have a little bit of a better chance when going up against this wolf, this warg. Got him. So here's the shield. The idea is that you come out up here, right, and all of a sudden you got a warg on your ass. You got to find the shield, otherwise you got to run for like cover, right? You gotta find a way to get to the next floor. It's also possible I could do a thing like lock this effectively, lock a door to the next dungeon in like another room that you have to get through, in order to like get to the next thing. There's a lot that we can really flesh out about this floor too. Like, one idea that I have is, like it would make sense that there would be like other dead bodies, because like maybe there's like a side room into like the next part of the dungeon, and someone regularly comes out to feed the warg, because the warg is right here, and I don't know exactly what we can do with his body, or what might necessarily be a great thing. Maybe, I don't know if you should eat a warg. I don't know if that's the thing we should be able to do. I got my D&D books, and I need to actually spend some time with them, because I think that would be worth actually doing research on. I'll probably plan a stream around it. It'd be fun to read some manual, like non-digital books, especially that have to do with RPGs and tabletop, which this game is largely inspired on. So there's kind of like connection there. Kind of like, see, we got iron type shield. We got, let's see. Okay, we need to be able to see the material type for the weapons. We only currently see, as well as the blindfold, right? Maybe we don't want to see material type because it's kind of obvious. It's in the actual description. kid. There we go. Damn, I got one-shotted by that guy. One shot, damn. Okay. All right, usage 35%. Okay. And it doesn't reset for a little while. Honestly, this is not super bad, but at the same time, I don't know. Like, I mean, obviously for vibe hacking, I was using a ton of context, but I also didn't have like as much like junk dummy data in. I mean, I have a lot of junk dummy data in those folders. In this folder, not really. All right. Oh, let's take a little short break here after I check code in. Um, let's I gotta get more coffee, maybe make a snack. Thankfully, I got a lot of food. Nice. All right, well, while it's compacting stuff, I'm going to go ahead and start the break process. So if you want to grab a drink or use the bathroom or smoke some weed or take your dog out to pee like I'm about to do, now's a good time. So what's going to come next? I keep having this itch I want to do something with 3D with these assets. I don't know exactly what or how to get started with that process. Maybe now is a good time for us to consider that. But let's start with some music and a sick screensaver. And I'm back. Let's keep the music in the background, smaller level. That should be a good volume, maybe. For me, maybe for y'all. We got about 45 minutes until it's time to feed my doggo. Let's see what we can do during that time. My cat was playing with something that I don't think he necessarily should have. He got this new toy recently, and it came with a bunch of feather accessories, and he was trying to eat it, probably because it reminded him of a bird. So let's get back to it. Back to you talking about that hawk Tua? I'm talking about that back Tua. That girl will put her back to you. Spit on that thing, hawk Tua, and then turn around and put her back to her. Yeah, these chats are not safe for work. What about it? Don't listen if you're in the office. That's a terrible idea. Unless you got a free thinking, free speech kind of office like we got here at Evil Dojo. You might not want to talk about things like sexual innuendo with your coworkers. I'm just saying. One thing I just realized, it didn't do any new unit tests. Realistically, there's not like anything that would cause Rust to break, other than, you know, you can't, there's no negative values. Anytime you go to set Rust, it's got to be an unsigned integer. The way I was thinking about it initially was like kind of like each value of Rust is like 1%. But that's why I'm thinking like 10,000 or 100,000. Because actually, even with 1,000, then you could have like every 10 units of Rust is equal to 1%. So you could relatively delay full rusting of an item for a long time. And the whole idea being like when you go to use a weapon that's been rusted, if that rust value exceeds a certain percentage, then holy shit, it just used a fuck ton of tokens for that run. Three new tests, holy shit. Damn, in that one shot, we just used like fucking 10%, 14%. me, buddy. Yeah, I was trying to scratch Mumbo. this is how we will introduce do we have any key graphics? Yeah, we have a key. have to open a locked door and do have the associated key. Alright, I think we're good to do this thing. Ready to hawk 2 on this thing. So ready to spit on this thing. Nice. That's not bad.
No daddy.
I think this will actually kill this is, I mean, I've almost hit my my plan usage all in this little 3-hour time block here. let's see, we're just about at the 3 hour mark, and I've got an hour 47 until Claude usage resets. So during this time, I could be using Codex. However, I'm gonna take a break because I gotta feed my dog. I gotta eat myself too, and we actually got a lot done. We shipped some new features. We began implementing a new system. We actually demonstrated that it works. So far, what like for how much tokens Claude used today in this session, it's not bad. Like, you know, I did I'm really close to the limit, so I decided to kill the session. However, um we got stuff actually implemented, so I can't really knock it on that front, but it does use a lot of tokens. It does use a lot of context when it does use stuff. So take that with a grain of salt as you see it, because maybe you can afford that kind of thing, but I want to be a lot more efficient about this kind of stuff. I don't want to waste tokens when I can avoid it. So some wins, actually really no negatives outside the gate. So other than just the excessive token usage, and the lack of a display bar, which I really really wish had a custom display, or yeah, whatever. We'll get there. Hopefully they'll fix it. Hopefully the source code leak leads to something good. Until next time, peace.